Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode here on the For Not Found technical server. So I hope that you enjoyed that time lapse. As you can see, we built the wall a little bit too small, but in the end we're able to get through and finish this entire chunk, 7x7 chunk perimeter. Thank you to DH and to Sacrius for helping me with that. It was a huge help. It's taken quite a while to get this particular perimeter done because, as you saw, it's partly in an ocean. So if we look here, yep, this portion here was in an ocean and took quite a while to finish. Not because it was a lot to drain necessarily. It was just that it was a bit awkward with there being a ocean ravine in there and having to place sand and prepare the area a little bit. So I had to use a conduit and a beacon just to flatten the area out a bit, and then use fly machines. That was all fine, but it also didn't help that my my connection to the server has been quite poor over the last 2 weeks, so it's been a little bit difficult getting on. So I ended up focusing a bit more on doing stuff in creative, such as the down axle spider farm. Got a video out on that already. So if you're interested in a spider farm, a down axle spider farm, go and check that out. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go back to 4.4 stuff. We've also got the Duper done. And this is one of many Dupers we've finished. So since the last episode was only the white concrete Duper. We've done quite a few more now. The red sand Duper is also done. An interesting thing about this perimeter is that it's partly generated with 1.16 chunks, which is why there's no deep slate in like sort of this bit, and then this slice here is the 1.17 chunks. So just an interesting detail. The light grey Duper is also done. Now, these locations aren't actually completely done. We've still got to do the decoration, and we've also got to prepare the nether side, because the nether side is also loaded from the chunk loaders, and we would like it to be as lag friendly as possible. So the only way to do that is completely remove as many blocks as we can, which is basically everything that's not bedrock. So we've also got to do that. However, that will be enough of me showing the process of making each of the perimeter locations, and I won't do another update on them until we have probably got all the other locations done and maybe the decoration, or I might just wait until we've actually completed the entire project and actually just show it off in one big sort of server tour style sort of video. But I don't know yet, so either way it's going to be one of those. That's enough on the concrete dupers and the sand dupers. For now, now we're going to tackle something else that's related but a bit different, and that is to do with finishing this area off. And the last thing we need to add here is this thing to the glass factory. I forgot that I put that sign there. But yes, anyway, the idea is that we're going to have sand sent this way to go to a glass factory and smelt all the sand up, and it can be stored as smelted up into glass quite quickly and efficiently without having to use our furnace array. It just means that we have a more convenient sort of way of getting glass, and glass is one of the big issues we have on here. Like, we do have plenty of glass at the moment, just it's always a pain to obtain, and we always have to run the sand duper and then wait, and then once that's done, then we have to go to the furnace array and then wait there for a bit and then wait for the glass. And so it's just there's extra steps involved that we don't want. So whilst it is easy to go and get glass at the moment, it's not ideal, and it would be nice if we had an automatic factory sort of thing to do it, and that's why we're going to do the glass factory. So nothing is here at the moment, and I don't think we've even connected the storage up to, like, loaders up to it. No, we haven't. So there's another thing here. This storage hasn't been connected at all, so it's probably going to be a hopper line that goes all the way out until we've actually got something out here. And so basically this space over here is completely reserved for the glass factory. I'm here on my test server with a copy of the concrete factory and the storage. I've already been playing around with some ideas, and I've been doing some calculations. Unfortunately, I don't think sending the items straight to the furnace array is going to be super straightforward. For 192k sand per hour, we will need 534 furnaces, and this is already quite large. How we split where items are loaded into the hopper minecarts gets complicated when you need to consider the irregular speed of incoming items in the water streams. An even split would probably turn out unreliable due to this, and it will cause a lot of frustration. You're also going to ensure that there's no downtime picking up items in between sending a hopper minecart over the arrays and sending the next one to the start picking up items, and I think this is the most complicated part. and would definitely require a buffer of some kind. So I'm not really willing to tackle that for something like a glass factory, and I want to keep it as simple as possible whilst still retaining the rates. Therefore, the option we are going to go with is actually to use the shulkerbox loaders we already have. Why have two inputs for the same type when you can just use the same input? And I know what you're thinking, why load up items just to unload them again? This is basically going to be the buffer I was talking about. We're going to need one regardless, so I don't see too much of an issue doing it this way. This allows us to not concern ourselves with the details of efficient item handling, and we essentially already do this. And what I mean by that is we come here to the storage, we grab the sand boxes, we then take them over to the overworld to the furnace array, and then we unload the boxes at the furnace array to then smelt the items down. Really all what we're doing here is we're just removing ourselves from the equation so that we don't have to travel all the way to the overworld just to smelt up a load of sand into glass when we want it. So that is what we're going to do, and I've already removed the water stream here and the actual sort of switch system we had, which would allow us to toggle the glass factory on and off. Instead, we're now going to wire it up. So this is the line that was to turn the glass factory on and off. We're going to wire it up to over here where we have the box loaders. So the box loaders here is for the sand. It's actually over the obsidian portion, but to get it to fit into the size of, well, to get it to fit into the old storage with the new storage, this bit was in the way, so we couldn't put it there. So we needed to put it across one, and the obsidian storage is handled differently to the sand storage anyway, so it wasn't an issue. Anyway, this is that sand storage, and currently we've got a dropper coming down here, and it goes over these hoppers into the system here. And now what I'm thinking is we essentially change the orientation of this hopper into a different location, and we will allow us to toggle this hopper here to be on and off, and that way this will not pick up items from this hopper, which allows us to then send them into a different direction. Now, exactly how we do this with what we've currently got, I do not know, so I'm going to have a bit of a play around with some ideas. I almost forgot to mention the greatest benefit of doing it this way. We're going to make the glass factory item type safe, and by that I mean we're not going to be sending in the wrong items to be smelted up and then never going to clog up the furnace array. We're only ever going to be sending the sand type, so we could either send sand, or we could either send red sand, or we could send both. It will fill up the furnace array and still be able to smelt, and the furnace array will be able to unclog itself. It will not be an issue, and that's great. That's what we really want. We're going to be wanting to run multiple dupers at the same time, and we could find a situation where we want to actually run the sand dupers with the glass factory on and some powder at the same time for whatever reason. So it will be quite beneficial for us to be able to do that and not have to worry about sending concrete powder into the glass factory and not having to run the glass factory at the same time. So having that option is quite a nice benefit, in my opinion. You never know, we might not ever do that, but the option is there for us. And another thing we can also consider is the fact that we can do both sand and red sand, so we can actually get double the amount of glass at any one time. So we could send off the red sand and the sand at the dupers at the same time, and then get twice as much glass if we wanted to. Might be a little bit overkill because already it's very fast, but if we want to, we can then add more modules. So I think for now we're just going to focus on just doing one, and we'll do it that way. And then if it turns out we want to do more, then we basically just add the same module on the red sand side. And but before doing that, I'll talk to the other server members and see what their opinions are of that. But yeah, anyway, let's just focus on one for now, get that working, and then if we can do, if we want to do more than one, then it's literally just a copy and paste sort of job. Because if it works for this one, it will work for the red sand one. So right, let's get right into it. Alright, this is the first mock-up I have got of the output from the shulkerbox loaders to what will be the furnace array, the glass factory. So what we've got here, this hopper, which is coming straight from the output of shulkerboxes from the loaders, which points into this hopper, and basically when we turn it on, so when this is up there, this will power this particular hopper, which locks it, but these ones here, so that's actually not enabled. This one will be enabled, so it'll go all the way around here, into this barrel, and into this hopper here, and what we're going to have is a a minecart with a chest, which will be here, and it'll be waiting for shulker boxes. So if we go ahead with 5 shulker boxes, it will not launch, and in here we've got 6 shulker boxes. And the nice thing about this is that once we get to 6 shulker boxes, this will set off the hopper minecart on its way to the furnace array, and what we're going to do is we're going to split it evenly across all six furnace arrays, and because we need 534 furnaces, that actually is divisible by 6, which is 89, so we're going to have 89 furnaces per each of these arrays. So 6 arrays, 89 furnaces each one. 89 furnaces each one. And the other reason we're going for 6 is because we've got 6 shulker box unloaders here, so we're going to have 6 boxes coming in at any one time. They won't be quite in sync, but the idea is that once we've got 6 boxes, we can then basically bring them in here, and once it gets to 6, we'll then be able to launch it, so we don't have to worry too much about that. There's no way to stop it going any higher than 6, but that's not the end of the world. We can just have it keep looping, and it will always evenly distribute 6, so I might have some left over afterwards, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not caring too much about that. But yeah, this is pretty simple. So the first step is to load them up into here and then evenly distribute them. So let's have a look at now what happens when we add the 6th box in. There we go. There's a little bit of delay, but like I say, that will probably contribute to having probably more boxes in here than 6 on certain occasions, but yeah, not the end of the world. And yep, now let's actually start looking at the first array. And this is what I've come up with for the unloading system, essentially. So this entire system looks quite bulky, but it's actually got quite a lot of logic condensed into this entire area, which I'm quite happy with. I could probably condense it down a bit further, but I think for now this will be fine, and if I think of a way to make it better, then I shall. But anyway, basically the idea is that once the chest minecart comes over here and puts a box into this chest here, it will then get into this shulker box unloader. This is a modified ×2 shulker box unloader, but from cubic meter. But the difference here is that instead of it being double hopper speed, it's now hopper speed. Not hopper speed, sorry, hopper minecart speeds, or 8 times hopper speed. So this hopper minecart is actually getting items drawn out from this hopper minecart, and when we have minecarts being sent to the array, which is in this tower here, they'll be here, and they'll be able to draw out the items. It's basically the exact same unloader that I used for the 320 super smelter that we have on the server. It could just draw out all the items at once. It's actually going to draw out a stack and a half. So that's about 96 items. Yeah, originally it was going to be 89 per side, but now it's going to be 96, because 96 is a lot nicer of a number. It's even, and we can, the way we want to do the furnaces is that we can have one side and another side, so it'll be a lot more compact. And yeah, it's just, and it also means that we have less hopper minecarts in general. They don't have to travel as far when they're coming back. So 96 is just a better number, and it's a lot easier to achieve that with a clock. So we have got a clock in the back here that will handle that. But anyway, let's just go through it each step and see what it does. Essentially, we're going to have the box get placed here. It's then going to activate this circuit here, which is just a pulse extender to make sure it stays on whenever there's a box being broken. So in between box breaking, we want to keep it on, so this is what keeps that on. And when that happens, actually with the normal loader, this redstone block will get pulled up, which will then allow the hopper minecart here to start drawing out items. Whilst the activate rail is activated, the hopper minecart is deactivated. It's actually going to stay deactivated because we've got just basically an AND gate here. Got this torch here that keeps it on, and this torch is part of the clock down here, which is to handle the item, basically the amount of items that go into a hopper. So this clock will do exactly 96 items, which is 96 game tick clock, because a hopper minecart takes an item out every tick. So that made calculations a little bit easier. So anyway, this is what this clock does, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself there. The main idea here is that it won't immediately start drawing out items. So once the box is there, it starts. It doesn't unload, it's just there idle. It then activates this system here. This is what activates the entire system on startup. So this is just the startup bit, and then it goes down here, powers this torch, which then retracts this very quickly, which is enough time to allow one hopper minecart to get through, but not the others. And then the hopper minecart will come down here, and once it gets to here, it will then activate this clock here, and it will tell the system that I'm here, power this, which then activates the clock, which basically moves this item from this dropper into this hopper, which activates the clock, and that's then the 96 game tick clock to get all the items we need, which will so where is it? It deactivates that. It's here, sorry. So yeah, so this will cause the output, this torch will deactivate, and that will deactivate the activate rail here. allowing us to draw out the items, and then as soon as those 96 game ticks are over, this will be reactivated, and we will have all the items we need in the hopper minecart and no more. However, as soon as it gets that amount, we need to actually send it off, and the way we send it off is using a different system. The input does this, activates this, but once we activate this, it actually then activates another system. So instead of just causing the minecart to be withdrawn, it will also activate this bit here, which is another clock, and this clock is a 200 game tick clock because we need to send a hopper minecart every 200 ticks, which is basically 10 seconds. A furnace will smelt an item every 10 seconds, so we want it to be as fuel efficient as possible, so we want to send a hopper minecart every 10 seconds, and this is why it does that. And once it finishes that cycle, this observer will power this, which then powers this, and then here, well, it powers here, sorry, and then here, if this block's in the way, so when the entire system's on, when there's a box detected, this block will actually be here, but for now it's not, so because there's no box detected, and then it will power this entire thing, which will send a hopper minecart off. The reason we have to have this out of the way if there's no box detected is so we don't send in a minecart and we don't keep having a cycle, and we don't keep cycling it. So if this block was there, this would keep cycling and we'd constantly be having hopper minecarts being sent, and we don't want that, so that's why that's there. But yeah, anyway, so then it basically repeats itself, so that's how it becomes a clock. So this is technically a pulse extender, but by having it loop, it becomes a clock. So, and then yeah, break the loop with that block there. Let's actually have a look at it in action. So I've got a shulker box with just 3 stacks in it, which means we have 2 hopper minecarts. So let's put it in. Box gets there, get the hopper minecart there, comes in. It's then going to grab the items. There we go, exactly a stack and a half. And we wait a little bit. There we go, and send it off, and then we got the other one. And now we're going to get those items there. Box breaks, which means that the box is no longer there, which means that when it activates again, we don't get another hopper minecart. And there we go, that's it, so we're done. And yeah, it means we don't have to send off an empty hopper minecart. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if we did that, but it's very ideal. Quite a nice little system, to be honest. And yeah, so that's that done. And yeah, if I can compact it any further, I will, but no, I'm very happy with this. So let's now actually get in the furnace array. And here we have all of the 96 furnaces we need. I've got up the water streams for the collection from the furnaces itself. Just on a quick test, it's unfortunately not 100% fuel efficient, but it's significantly better than the 320 super smelter. There's a very, very, very small gap in between this, for example, this particular furnace having the glass leave and the next one coming in. So it's very, very small. So it's pretty good, and I'm quite content with it. So let's actually have a look at it in action. So where's the box? There it is. Let's put a stack of 3 in. There we go. Micah comes here, fills up with all of the items. There we go. Wait a little bit, and we're off. And there we go. Starting to fuel it, while the other one collects the items. And you'll see that. There we go. And there, next one. So not terrible, but not 100% fuel efficient. You can see all the glasses coming down now. But yeah, we're actually quite low down in the world here, so if we go one more block, that's it. That's the maximum we can build. So pretty good that we got it down to this, got it all compacted down enough in this sort of area. But yeah, but this bit here was very easy to do because I've already done it for the 320 super smelter. This is using the design that me, Easy, and DH came up with for that particular furnace array. So just reused it here, and it does the job. I need to do a full test with a full shulker box, see what we get there, and then change anything if we need to. And if not, then we will go ahead and put the other 5 in, and then we'll do some rate tests and run it with the actual farm itself and see how it holds up, and then we can work out what loaders we need to really use. Okay, so the tests with a full shulker box went very well. We didn't run out any minecarts. Pretty much always had 2 always out. This is more than enough to have. We'll keep it like this. I'll probably change this a little bit to be a bit more, not have this straight bit here, so it's just a straight diagonal because it is bothering me a little bit. But other than that, yeah, I'm not going to have to change anything, which is really good. So let's Let's now try adding all of them in, and then actually doing a proper full-on test with several shulker boxes at once. All 6 are now in place, and I will not lie, this looks really cool. I just love this, just how industrial this all looks, and it's all working together really quite well. So how the distribution worked, and each one worked like the first one did. It's just very good. So I'm very happy with this entire project. This is something we can actually reuse a lot of what I've done here for the super smelter that we'll use for as part of our main storage complex in the main storage perimeter. Yeah, we'll obviously optimize some things that are happening here. I mean, at the end of the day, this is just a glass factory. We don't need to go overboard with the optimizations, but this is optimized. This is more optimized than the super smelter we've already got, so I'm very happy overall. There is just one little issue now that I've just got to address, which is actually the way we fuel. And at the moment, the way I've done it is just using a very simple setup of a double hopper speed loading into a chest minecart, which at the moment is completely full because the entire thing is not on. So I added this bit here, which if any of these are on, then it tells the system that, well, it's on, so that means that it can then start fueling. The issue here is that when this is not full, so if it's not full and it's got 9 stacks and a bit, that's the amount we need, because it's about it's 96 times 6, which is 576, just over 9. No, that isn't exactly 9 stacks. And here this will do about 9 stacks and a little bit. So there'll always be a little bit left over, and yeah, if it's at that, it doesn't refill quick enough to go and refill all the rest of the furnaces, so eventually you'd run out of fuel. So doing it with just a single hopper, a single chest minecart here is unfortunately not going to work. Let's just quickly show you what else I added. So like I said, I've got this system here which basically down here, which tells you if it's on. Also added in droppers for the empty boxes, so that we can then go ahead and reuse them. Fits in very nicely to what we already got here, so it doesn't go past this beacon here, so it does go slightly outside of this, so but it doesn't go past that. Yeah, so it's still inside the storage like sort of bit here, and it fits in quite snugly down there, as you can see. So if you wanted to build a second one there, it would actually be quite symmetrical, and then that one would connect to the redstone and be pretty much just the same. So yeah, no issues at all, really, other than just that fuel. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix that, and I'll be right back when I do. The fuel problem has now been resolved. Very easy. All I have to do was just basically split the 2 sides in half, so that the fuel, one side is handled by one hopper minecart, and the other side is handled by another hopper minecart. And over here we have where they come, which is here. So it starts here, we unload the charcoal here, and over here we have just basically a load of boxes of charcoal, so you can actually send it straight from over here in the atrium to the hall. So you come into here, you have this indicator here which tells you if the glass factory is on, and it also tells you if there's any fuel. At the moment there's loads of fuel, so that's on. And then yeah, and then you can have this input here as well. Let's now go ahead and run it with 6 boxes. Let's show you it in action. So 6 boxes, loads up, that reaches 6, so it goes over here. These ones have got activated, there you go, activated. You can see the old boxes getting dispensed as well, the empty ones. And over here they all start loading up. In a minute we should start seeing them getting sent off, so the fuel's already gone first, which is good. Then over here we have all of, there you go, you can see sort of this zigzag that they go in, because it's basically perfectly in time with each other, just ever so slightly out in terms of like phase. So each one's out of phase with each other by a certain degree. And down here we can see all the glass being dispensed into the water streams, which will eventually come over here, and then they all collect over here, and we'll send them off to some loaders themselves and then put them into the storage. It's not too laggy either. It's running at 6.5 MSBT, and when it's idle it's running at 3. So yeah, it's really good. Also, we never get low on fuel. the fuel is always going to increase, so that's not an issue. And I don't care too much about hopper minecarts constantly going over them once the fuel is completely full. So if the hoppers are also filled with the furnaces, that I don't mind, because there's a system in place to stop the hopper minecarts launching if the glass battery's not on, which is this redstone line here. That just connects up to the redstone line up here. I've lost it here. Yep. So here you can see it's on. So just basically a massive OR gate there, and then down here activates the line. Well, here it deactivates a torch, and this then just activates a redstone line. That will then power these pistons here, which keeps them powered constantly, even if this comparator isn't powering the torch here. So if the glass battery's not on, then don't send the fuel, which is the whole idea. We don't want to have fuel constantly going around. Okay, so the boxes have been broken, which means it's pretty much done. So now, yep, no more minecarts are there, and we're all done. And that was very quick. That was only a couple of minutes. That's all designed up now, and I'm very, very happy with it. There was just one slight flaw that I had to amend, and it's taken me quite a few hours to do it, but it's detrimental to the entire system. The previous thing I showed you, the way that was all done, that would have worked if the boxes were coming in at regular intervals, so the hopper chest at the top were constantly being filled with boxes. That it wouldn't have been an issue there. However, that's not the case. There's times where the entire system turns itself off, and then as soon as it's just turned itself off, then a new box comes in and basically breaks that and causes a double signal, which caused some hopper minecarts to be launched prematurely, and we'd have two, and they'd be bouncing about, and it was horrible. So that was very, very bad. So that fix was easy. Just made sure to turn it off once the each module turns off. So here we've got this line here. So once this pulse extender turns off, this means that the entire this bit is off. However, you've got to keep it in sync with the 200 tick clock. So you then have this torch here indicating whether it is actually on. So this is basically a big OR gate. Well, it's not even a big OR gate; it's just a small OR gate. And so if the clock's off, then this bit will be off. And then what I've done here is I've put in a hopper going into a barrel, and that way we can lock this hopper. If there's an item in there, it won't go into the barrel, and then it won't go into the barrel until at least this part of the system is off, so this clock. However, there's a slight other flaw to it at the very end. So over here, I didn't show this earlier actually, it's one of the little things I forgot to show, but to get this to actually start sending more items in again, we have this bit here, which basically reactivates it. This wouldn't have happened if we didn't have this bit in here. So so this bit down here, which I showed you originally, that only activates it on the start. It wouldn't work if not when it's not on the start, basically, and that's why you need the second bit. But the second bit launches again once the last minecart goes, which means that there's a time frame when this is deactivated. And if you have another box come in, which means that this will be unloading more items than necessary. So we'd actually find that we'd have more than 96 sand in any hopper at any one time, which was really annoying. So now it's all working, it doesn't matter. So here we've just had a situation where between boxes and all that, but yeah, originally it wasn't happening, and the way I fixed that is to basically just add a little bit in here which powers this, which keeps this powered, which basically powers the hopper minecart. No, sorry, it powers the hopper here whenever this bit of the system's on, whenever that clock's on. So essentially now what we've got is a big old gate, which is saying that if any single thing is powered, then don't allow box in. And this is perfectly timed so that when this turns off, and there is an item in there, box in there. Sorry. Once this turns off, this will still be on. Over here, this will still be on, and then once this turns off, it can then send a box in, and then everything's the entire system's turned off, and then you can easily put in another box in and then reset everything. Yep, a little bit of extra logic I have to add in, and so I have to do it everywhere. And the annoying thing about it is that I've had to add an extra hopper everywhere, but this way we're now completely safe to regular timings. With that, I ran out of time, and this video is quite long already, so apologies for that. But if you did enjoy it, please give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and please join our Discord, and I hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.